You're listening to Copy Chief Radio. Get all the episodes and join the community at copychief.com.
Hey friends, it's Kev. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate your time, and I want to get into some nitty-gritty about freelancing and the stage that we hit inevitably, where we are established. So we've got some clients, hopefully we've got some repeat clients, but it's still a bit of feast of famine, right? We don't have people coming to us necessarily unless we've already worked with them. You know that phase where you get booked up and you do the work and you're happy to have the work, and then something happens and you look up one day and you don't have much work anymore, and you got to sort of start the process all over. You haven't been promoting your services. Nobody really knows what you do. You made some friends, but you don't quite have a name in the industry. And you got to change that. And it's a tricky thing to do because you have to make some choices. This is where you really need to find a specialty. And just a quick caveat about being a specialist and niching down, and because, you know, there seems to be this whole discussion that goes on about whether it makes sense to niche because you might be limiting yourself and people think of you for something specific, but you actually can do other stuff, and so you're losing those opportunities. Let's just put all that to rest, okay? Because I've just seen in my own life, and I've seen over and over and over for 9 years now as I coach other freelancers on this, that becoming a specialist is simply the most powerful thing you can do to excel your career and stay booked and have good leads come to you. I mean, think about it. When company owners start asking around for, say, a copywriter or an email strategist or something like that, they're not asking around, hey, do you know a decent generalist copywriter? Like, they know there's no struggle in finding that, and so they don't ask around. But when they identify a need they have, something that's standing in their way, a gap in their marketing, some other problem they need fixed, they say, who's out there who does this really well? Who do we know who's worked with someone who is a specialist in this? And when you have put in the work to shine what I call your bat signal on that specialty, that is when great clients come to your door, because when they go asking that question, it's your name that comes up. Now, that doesn't mean that's the only possible service you can provide them. Surely they're going to need other things. But think about the positioning you now have to come into somebody's world as the expert they were hoping to find. You feel the difference there, right? It's so powerful. It is a legit game changer. And for me in my career, when I was freelancing, like, this happened very organically. I teach this now, and it's because I was able to reverse engineer what I did while I was freelancing instinctively to become a specialist and to become known as a specialist, right? So for me, the context was ClickBank, and I was making a name for myself as a very effective ClickBank copywriter. In fact, one of the first big major scores for a freelancer in my career was when a couple of guys were launching their first ClickBank product. And these guys were so green that they were out recruiting affiliate partners, and they kept getting asked, oh, well, who's your copywriter? And they were like, they knew they needed a copywriter. They didn't know it mattered who they were planning to hire. Yet every one of these high-powered affiliates who were considering becoming a partner were like, one of the first questions, well, who's your copywriter? Because they know if these guys have a good copywriter, a known copywriter, then their stuff is probably going to convert, and it's much easier, yes, for them to promote the product. And so when people would ask them, who's your copywriter, they would say, well, we haven't decided that yet. Can you give us some names? And my name came up in just about everybody's short list. So they call me and they tell me this story. They're like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest, we didn't even know it was this important to have a copywriter that everybody knew about, but your name kept coming up. And so we want to talk about you writing this promo. And so I did, and it was just a perfect storm of events, the product, the offer, the timing of it. And it was a very kind of revolutionary idea at the time. It was called Mobile Monopoly, and it was, it seems ridiculous now, but this is like 2010. And the idea that you could actually market to people on their phones was like revolutionary. And so we wrote this great sales letter, me and my writing partner, Ben Johnson, and the thing killed. I mean, they ended up making, I think, $10 million in total off of the promo. And it was one of those gigs, did two things for me. One, I was flattered but not shocked that my name was coming up in that list of copywriters for ClickBank, because I'd had a few winners. But I realize now, I hadn't thought of this, but I guess my specialty is writing ClickBank launch promos. I mean, it's what I did for a couple of years before that, but I never thought to call myself that, right? Or say to people, hey, if you're wondering what I do, this is it. I was still probably saying, oh yeah, I write all kinds of copy. I write a lot of launch promos. I write landing pages. I can write an email sequence. I was just kind of accidentally lowering my stature by not being a specialist, and just because, again, the same mindset was I don't want to turn away money if somebody wanted something else, and I had room on my schedule. I wanted to be able to say yes to it. And so after that, I literally was a specialist in ClickBank copywriting because I couldn't fit anything else in my calendar, right? I mean, literally, and this is no hype, no exaggeration. That gig that we did, Mobile Monopoly, I remember we charged $10,000 for the entire package, which was our standard price right then. And then after that thing exploded, I mean, the proverbial phone ringing off the hook, and my price doubled overnight to $20,000, and then within another 2 or 3 clients, it was up to $30,000, and it was just a pure situation of supply and demand. And then not long after that, we were up to $50,000 a package, which a year and a half ago cost $10,000, right? Same amount of effort, work on our part, but nobody thought of me as a specialist in that thing. And of course, you have to have some results to back up your specialty. And just changed everything in my life and my business, the direction of my business. And the other important thing to point out is, I didn't want to stay in the ClickBank world forever then, right? And so I sort of had the greatest problem at that point was, I'm booked for 6 months. At one point, we were booked a year in advance with launches. That's how much our name held weight in the industry. But other people were starting to call me outside of ClickBank who had more interesting projects. Like Dr. Joe Vitale had a business partner, and he wanted to do a big launch. And I was like, oh man, this is cool. I can kind of get out of this ClickBank world and really work on cool, interesting projects. But it was only because I had that specialty of launch copywriter, new product launch copywriter. And again, it wasn't until I started teaching other copywriters, how do I solve these problems I have? How do I stop the feast and famine? How do I market my business in a way so I never have these gaps and I never end up without work? And so I devised a system. I call it RFL, Real Free Life. And it's the first program I ever put together and taught to, I think in the first group, there were 7 freelance copywriters. And like I said, I just reverse engineered everything I did. I taught it to them in 4 weeks, and the results were incredible. And it was not only tactically doing the things that I had done that were now sort of this protocol that were immediately effective, but it was also their own awareness, the students in the program, of, oh yeah, embracing a specialty, defining a specialty is completely transforming how I think about what I do. And so it just aligns everything, right? Now you know what to write about. You know what to create authority content around. You know what kind of groups of business owners to embed with and talk to and solve their problems. And word spreads throughout those communities that you are the specialist. And then just everything changes. So if you identify with being in that place where you know you have the experience and the ability to be a specialist, but you are still seen as a generalist, or worse yet, sort of not seen at all. If you've been busy behind the scenes gathering this information, doing the hard work, but still nobody knows your name, that's what RFL is all about. It is the program that helps you basically become a celebrity, step out, be known. And when I say the word celebrity, that does not mean suddenly overnight becoming super present on social media or having to do anything that makes you uncomfortable or doesn't feel like you. Right? That's an important thing to know about how I teach and the kind of people I want in my programs. It's like, bring me your goods, bring me your talent, bring me the hard work that you've been doing, show me the results it's been getting for people, and I will help you package that in a way that makes you the standout go-to expert in that. Yes, we do need to have some material out there, but that could be a blog on your website, that could be LinkedIn articles. If you don't want to show your face, don't ever show your face. Perfectly fine. There is no one way to do this. I've coached people who have incredibly big Instagram and TikTok followings. I've coached people through this who you wouldn't know it was them if you walked into a bar full of copywriters. You'd be, I've heard of you. Wow. Oh, I never knew what you looked like, right? Because that's how they want it. So this program, I'm running it live. I've always taught this program live. It starts on August 23rd. It's my baby. It's, like I said, the first program I ever created. It's just so effective. The people who have come through this program and come out the other side, who they are now is pretty staggering. People like Chris Orzechowski and Ross O'Loughlin and Abby Woodcock and Justin Blackman, Brennan McGowan, Rachel Kraft. I mean, just the list goes on of people who came into this program kind of ignorable, not because of their abilities, but because they had no plan, and came out the other side superstars. And years and years and years later, they still use the principles in RFL. They may have changed specialties, they may have completely altered their bat signals, but they know that is the standard for staying booked. I have to have a known specialty, and I have to shine my bat signal, and people will come to my door. It's so simple in concept, but harder to do if you don't have a system for it, right? So that's what RFL is all about. I'm really excited to be teaching it. Again, it's the first time I've taught it in 2 years, just because I've been busy with other stuff in the business. I'm really stoked about getting back into the material. The reason I teach it live every time is because I always freshen up the material. The foundation of the modules has stayed the same. We go through 4 stages: visualize, specialize, legitimize, and then capitalize. And I walk you through those stages. And again, completely customizable to who you are and how you want to be seen, what kind of offers you want to create, what kind of packages you want to put together, who are the clients you want to serve. The goal of this program is for you to wake up, look at your calendar, and be thrilled. Almost have to pinch yourself and go, wow, I get to do this work with these people for this pay. This is my life. This is my job. And there's still a line at the door. All right, this is not a one-time happenstance. This is your business now. So if you're interested in that, easiest thing to do is just write me, kevin@copychief.com. Put RFL in the subject line. Say that you heard me talking about it here on the podcast, and I will get you the application. This is strictly limited to 20 students because, again, it's me teaching it. It's very hands-on. You're going to get a lot of personal attention. I also have my co-coach, the incredible Melanie Warren, in there with me. 8 weeks, so we do a module, then we do a Q&A, a module, a Q&A, in the rotation like that for 8 weeks. So you have plenty of time to do any of the assignments. The cool thing about the program as well is you're putting together sort of your new business through the assignments. I don't just give you busy work. You're not going to be hand copying anything, or it's like, okay, visualize this, decide this, legitimize this. Now let's create your ultimate package, your ultimate authority package. And a fun thing, I pick one winner. Everybody creates their ultimate authority package, and I take the person that I feel like has it really nailed, really dialed in, and I bring you on this podcast and I interview you as that expert and help you get some leads in business that way. It's usually hard to choose the winner because, again, the process is such that it's like, oh, it was sitting right there the whole time and I just never talked about it this way, right? So very effective, very fun. Again, Kevin at copychief.com. Just reach out to me directly. I'm right here. And if this sounds like something you need, then let's talk about it and let's get it done. I want to change your life. All right. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, don't forget your goodies. Head over to copychief.com/copychiefradio to get some great free stuff to help you put the things you hear on the show into action for your business. copychief.com/CCR.